Hear ye, prepare thyself for a proclamation from the Dukes of Gaming.
Do you love video games? Do you love staying up to date with the latest going-ons of the gaming industry? Do you love shooting the breeze with your friends about all things interactive entertainment? Well then, fine people, do we have a podcast just for you? Join us at the Dukes of Gaming podcast. Gather around as me and my fellow Dukes bring you the most interesting news, interesting topics, and spicy hot takes from the video game realm every single Monday. If that sounds like a blast to you, subscribe to Dukes of Gaming, no questions asked. Available wherever you get your podcast.
Hear ye, the ad read is over.
The opening narration for the TV edit of Jaws: The Revenge attempts to explain its purpose. Since time immemorial, events have taken place with no evident reason for their happening. Such phenomena has been man's dilemma and the subject of constant philosophical discussions. When there's no factor motivating an event, no case of cause creating effect, what triggered the action? Fate or circumstances? What you're about to see concerns such an event. Maybe you can determine whether we are dealing here with circumstances or fate. Seeing an opportunity to promote the Jaws ride at Universal Studios theme park, MCA Universal CEO Sidney Sheinberg decided to greenlight and fast-track a third sequel to Jaws. Joseph Sargent, director of such films as MacArthur, White Lightning, and The Taking of Pelham 123, was convinced to direct this movie by Sheinberg under the pretense that he would be able to do whatever he wanted. Ignoring the plot of Jaws 3D entirely, this last of the Jaws movies went in a different direction to spice things up. Sargent was quoted as saying that the premise was born out of a little bit of desperation to find something fresh to do. We thought that maybe if we take a mystical point of view and go for a little bit of magic, we might be able to find something interesting enough to sit through. The fictional wife of Chief Brodie, Ellen Brodie, played by actual wife of Sidney Sheinberg, Lorraine Gary, is the only returning character from the other films. In an ultimate slap to the face, this movie purports that Chief Brodie died of a heart attack due to a lifelong fear of sharks, ignoring his arc and actions from the first and second films. Ellen Brodie's new love interest, Hoagie, is played by eventual Christopher Nolan muse Michael Caine, who infamously could not appear in person to collect his Academy Award for his role in Hannah and Her Sisters due to his shooting commitment on Jaws: The Revenge. This movie has the coveted distinction of holding a 0% on aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes and maintains a legacy of being one of the worst movies ever made. But what did we think of this movie? Join me, Matt McGregor, along with my co-hosts Harris McCabe and Colin Shaw as we prepare ourselves, because this time, it's personal. We watched the fourth and final movie in the Jaws franchise of films. This is 1987's Joseph Sargent classic, Jaws: The Revenge. This is a show about franchises. Shark Attack franchises. You're listening to License to Watch.
Why in the world was this movie made?
So the director of this movie, whose name is something,
John Sargent, is that it?
Oh yeah, John Sargent.
Something Sargent.
Yeah, so he's and I think we've actually talked about him before because wasn't he the guy that Jordan Letty met at a wedding once?
Yeah, guest of Jaws 2.
Yeah.
Jordan Letty met this guy at a wedding once.
And told him, hey, kid, you got a future in this business. Well, anyways, Jordan's impression of him as like old school Hollywood, accent was dead on. So he's in this, he's doing this interview that popped up on YouTube, and I was watching it, and it was basically him talking about like his career. He did like The Taking of Pelham 123. I think he did Coal Miner's Daughter. This is a guy who really, he knows what he's doing. He had some good movies. And he's talking about Jaws 2, and he's just, at some point, he's explaining how they all got involved in it. He's explaining that they said in order
We're talking about this movie,
This
right?
movie, yeah, sorry, Jaws 4.
Jaws
so
4,
apparently to lure him to
Revenge.
do it, they basically, Sid, whatever his name is,
Sheinberg.
Yeah, Sid Sheinberg, who is, Lorraine Gary's wife, or Lorraine Gary's
You almost
husband.
said Sid Jeinberg.
Harris, what is going on with you tonight?
Well, you rushed me here, and now I'm trying to get involved. Anyways, so he said, this guy said, like, listen, you can do anything you want. All you got to do, you can have carte blanche to direct whatever kind of Jaws movie you want. My only condition is you got to think of a new way to kill the shark at the end. And so he was like, wow, carte blanche to make a big budget action movie. I'll take it, you know. And so he's trying to explain how this all went wrong. And he starts slowly recounting all the ridiculous things that happen in this movie and all the parts of it that don't make sense. And like, it's gaining this momentum as he explains, like, oh, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then they got this pointy thing at the end of the boat and it crashes into the shark, and then for some reason the shark explodes. I don't know. I guess it's hard to imagine how so many professionals, and he's like naming all the people that were involved, like Michael Caine and blah, blah, blah. It's like, Michael Caine loved the script. I guess it's just hard to understand how so many professionals who know what they're doing could end up making this movie and never notice how bad it was. It was just really funny to see him like just totally own up to it and just be like, you know what? We blew it. But, you know, at the time, it seemed like it was all making sense.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I see this as a movie that people knew were bad, but they just said fuck it, and they were like, we're gonna do this. You're gonna like it or not, whatever.
It's hard to tell.
I think that's the irony of it, is that it's like clearly people were kind of I think people tried hard and they just didn't get it right, but
I think they did. Like, really, the performances in this movie are pretty good. I mean, aside from Lorraine Gary, and we'll get into that. But
She was great.
oh,
Actually, I would say Mario Van Peebles did a great job with how like horrible of a part that was. That was a really badly written part.
and a really badly written accent.
yes.
Yes.
Mon.
Mon.
All right. So obviously, the movie we are talking about is Jaws: The Revenge. This is the final movie, unfortunately, in the Jaws franchise of
So
films. Thus far, yes. Yeah. Joining us for this episode is friend of the pod and first-time guest, Kyle Quigley.
Hello, guys.
Former friend.
Former friend, Kyle Quigley.
Former colleague at USC.
Surprise, Kyle.
Surprise, yeah, I guess
You've
I'm
been
cut
demoted
out.
to former friend.
You have been upgraded to friend once again.
All right.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks, guys. It's good to be here.
If the name sounds familiar, it's because Jenna Quigley has been a guest of this podcast before.
Yeah, she did the Exorcist, right? One of the
Yeah.
Exorcists?
That's right.
Yep.
Exorcise.
Classic episode. Many bits were derived from that episode.
Yep.
And by many, I mean one. Which is Blue Collar Exorcist.
It was derived and then immediately exhausted.
Yes.
Also, Kyle, this is a reunion of our 508 trio from USC. So we were all our first big project, our first year culmination project. Matt and Kyle and I were all partnered up together and made the 3 greatest short films that has ever been made in the history of USC cinema.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and
It's true.
didn't
Proud of
kill
that.
each other,
Yeah.
which is great.
yep.
We won many
I feel
awards.
like I was there, even though I was not.
Colin was there in spirit. You definitely would have played one of the Santa Clauses in my film.
And definitely would have played something in my film. And might have
definitely.
actually enjoyed
Yes.
my film. He might have been the only person who understood it.
The Bone Cook was the Jaws 4 of our 508 class.
It really was. It really was. And I'm kind of proud of that. Yeah, Colin,
It had
seriously.
many flashbacks to scenes that the actors weren't there for originally.
Yeah, Colin loves disasters that don't make any sense. His only complaint with the Bone Cook is that it's probably not long enough or boring enough.
Yeah.
Or boring enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I probably, if I was there, I probably would have been enabling the worst decisions you could make.
Yeah, you could have taken over the as an actor for the 31-year-old man who had a heart attack in midway through the shoot and couldn't finish the shoot and necessitated reshoots.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
31.
And I can't even blame
Jeez.
that on why the movie didn't work. That wasn't even the problem. That was fine.
But so, Kyle, first of all, welcome to the show. Thanks for doing this.
You're very welcome, guys.
Do you have, what's going on with your life, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Do you have anything you want to get off your chest?
Oh, I mean, so many things to get off my chest, but that's not the point of this podcast. No, I'm just, working, working like anyone else, and trying to find a new avenue, new gig, see what I can do. Been trying to get into voice acting. So that's kind of where my creative focus is. Oh my god!
Nice. Can you do this entire show in a different voice?
I could try and do a Michael Caine, but it probably
Oh
won't be.
yes, I was gonna pull that out later for you.
It's not quite nasally enough, but
Not bad. I was gonna say, what is behind you, Kyle? Is that a bed?
yes, this is the bed. There's a light built
Is
into
the bed really
headboard.
high, or are you really low? I can't tell. Or have you shrunk?
Have you become one with the bed?
He seems like he's like the bed is like shoulder height with him now, which I'm trying to get my bearings. I don't know.
Do you have to lay there with your legs like that? It's a little.
Do you guys not like Spread Eagle? Is presenting not the podcast?
I
Sentence?
just think maybe with some underwear on would probably be a little less distracting.
you guys invite me on.
just
There's no
went-
dress code, and now you're
That's true. We
criticizing
didn't
what
really
I
lay out
am
a bunch
and
of
am not
rules.
wearing.
We've never had this.
You just
come
went
up
from former friend to future lover.
Future
That's-
lover.
It seems like a bowl of grapes wouldn't really help you podcast in any way. So I don't understand why you brought that into the bed.
I just like grapes.
So Kyle, was this your first time seeing this movie? If memory serves me well, you are not a fan of horror films, so I'm guessing you probably have never seen this.
Yes, I have never seen this film. I definitely saw the original Jaws. Pretty sure that is the reason why I'm terrified of sharks and the ocean. Pretty much, I don't like the ocean. Creeps me out. Just nope. Just hard nope. I may have seen like part of Jaws 2 or one of the other ones, but nope. I've never seen this one, and it was a delight. It was just cinematic masterpiece.
There's so much to say. I don't know where to begin. What about you guys? Have you seen this movie before? Was this the first time?
First time for me. I there was something nostalgic about Michael Caine being in it, but that's just because I think I've seen that Michael Caine has been an actor for a long time. I don't think I've actually seen Michael Caine in this. But there was something familiar about Michael Caine. I think because
you know who Michael Caine
famous.
is. Yeah.
Yes.
Of all the actors in this, Michael Caine was the one I recognized.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I've never seen this before, and I'm going to kind of tip my hand here a little bit. This is the second best Jaws movie. That's a fact. I feel like this is not debatable. This is better than the other two that we watched. I have no idea why this has a reputation as being the worst one. For me, it's a no-brainer that this is the second best.
Wow, I feel like this movie is so close to being good. It's like they forgot to tell the audience what they were trying to go for. Like, had they come out on, in the beginning and been like, okay, we're adding like a mystical element to this now, that like this shark, is connected to them, or like, I don't know if you guys read, but there was some like voodoo scene that was supposed to start this movie, that like the Brodie family gets cursed by this like voodoo priestess or something because I don't know why. And like
magic.
that was supposed to that was supposed to explain what goes on in this movie, but there's no explanation, and instead the movie is just batshit crazy and so much fun.
Even that is like a bit of a stretch for the shark swimming down the entire eastern seaboard and into the Caribbean in the same amount of time it took them to fly there. It is still like that's a bit of a stretch, even for a voodoo curse. I have to say.
We could talk at great length about all the things that don't make sense about this movie. I mean, if you want to nitpick negatives and stuff that's just crazy, I mean, I'm sure we'll do that. I just said it didn't take anything away from my enjoyment of the film.
I was hoping they would go polar opposite of horror and just go slapstick comedy, because when they showed the shark swimming down the coast, I was like, I want to see a shark road sign of like Bahamas this way. Like every scene I wanted to see a shark on land in a trench coat, sunglasses, and fake mustache. Like I think it could have lent itself to just going full comedy.
Like Jabberjaw.
Yeah.
Just like walking around.
Well, like every time you see the shark in this, it's like way out of the water, or if it's in the water, it just looks like a big piece of plastic or rubber or something. It definitely looks like an inanimate object.
The shark can float and dog paddle. I want to disagree with you there, though, because I think one of the most impressive things about this movie is that this is the first movie where the mechanical shark actually works and actually looks good. I think they did a good job with it. It had an articulated jaw. It had a whole articulated... It had a moving head. I mean, I think they used like 7 different sharks, but they had 2 full-sized animated robot sharks that could operate in the water. And I think they looked for a practical effect. I think it looked really good, and I was really impressed with what they did. Now, that having been said, it wasn't scary, and the shark's still much scarier if you don't see it. So it wasn't effective. But I'm just saying from like a craft standpoint, it's pretty fucking cool to finally see the shark and it look good.
Those are nice puppets, I guess, but it doesn't look like a real shark, and I don't necessarily think that's good. Also, you know how a dolphin can swim with like its upper body out of the water? That's because the dolphin's tail goes this way. The shark tail goes this way. The shark tail's like vertical, and the dolphin tail is horizontal. So a shark cannot just like use only its tail to swim inside the water and have the rest of its body outside the water. Also, it can't breathe that way.
Also, dolphins are technically buoyant and can float a little bit. Sharks can't float at all. They just sink.
Sharks are
so
not.
Yes.
They sink.
Yes, I agree with everything you're saying about the science of a shark like doggy paddling to eat a boat. It doesn't make
and
sense.
Dolphins are mammals.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I just want to go back for a second. I think we've entered another segment of Harris pronounces words funny.
Water.
Did you say buoyant?
Did he?
Yeah. What's?
It's buoyant.
Yes.
Oh, it's not pronounced like booyah.
I feel like for this segment we need like a cha-ching sound, like for
Wait.
for quarters.
So is the thing that bobs in the ocean a buoy?
No, that's a buoy.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. It's not. It doesn't apply across everything that's buoyant.
So where do we go from here? Oh, I was gonna say let's maybe because this movie has so much we can pick apart. Maybe we should go around and talk about the thing we liked most about this movie, or the things that we thought worked.
This movie has the maybe 3rd best quote in the history of movies, and if my friends and I had seen this movie in high school, we would have quoted this ad nauseum to the point that everyone else would have started saying it, even not knowing what it's from, assuming it's from something less obscure. Can anybody guess what my 3rd favorite quote in the history of cinema is? As of yesterday.
Who says it? Mario Van Peebles?
No, the guy who plays Michael, the kid from The Last Starfighter.
Oh. What does he say? Is it about the cooking the fish or whatever?
No, he says, "I've always wanted to make love to an angry welder. I've dreamed of nothing else since I was a small boy." And
Right.
It is great. It is so good.
But he says it with like ironically, right? He's like
He's
being funny.
kind of. I mean, ironic and sexily.
Yeah.
But I think just the line itself stands on its own as an amazing piece of writing.
The sexy parts of this movie are quite sexy. In fact, what I was going to say is my favorite part is when Michael Caine and Mrs. Brodie kiss. I would have liked to seen it go further, personally. And it's unfortunate that the movie ended with them in the water because, like, I think a good last shot would have had them, like, in some sort of embrace.
The movie ended with them in an airplane.
Ah, fuck.
Damn it.
Shut up.
For all your bad-mouthing this movie, Colin, I think it's maybe because you weren't paying enough attention to it. I think if you really watched it and appreciated it on the level that I did.
Well, I also thought that they should have done the thing from that Charlie Sheen movie where Michael Caine fucks her while flying the plane.
Yes.
Like, why not, Jaws 4? You went this far.
Yeah.
Why not?
No, I agree with that. That would have been an improvement.
Can we talk to Michael Caine about this? I think he needs to know that I feel this way about this.
That you want to see him fucking more?
It's like,
Well, Colin, have I got a surprise for you? He's actually on this show right now.
yes!
Oh, that's lovely to hear, Colin.
Michael, I loved you in all of the Batman movies. I wish that you could be Alfred at my house, but I tragically am not a billionaire. Big fan, long-time watcher of your movies, first-time meter of you in real life, or over Zoom, or wherever we are. you and I, Michael, actually talking to each other. I gotta say, Michael Caine, that you in Jaws 4, I really would have liked to see you have sex with that lady. Just like tastefully, obviously. I'm not talking about no porno shit. What do you think about that, Mike?
Sorry, one of my cats just came in, and I was expecting him to yell full tilt at me.
You could be a little self-conscious about doing the Michael Caine impression in front of the cat. It could be bewildering.
Yeah, Glenn's my biggest critic when I do voices. That's why I kick him out of the VO booth.
I'm not gonna lie. That was your best opportunity of the night to yell at your cat in Michael Caine voice.
Yeah.
Whiskers! I thought I'd tell you to get... I can't do it.
Whilst we falls, Glenn, so we can learn to pick ourselves back up.
Yes. I found you.
This was actually, I think Michael Caine said that this was the first time that he was ever romantically paired with somebody his age. Like he had been, like all the other romantic interests for him up until this point were younger women, and this was like him becoming more of an older actor.
Let's talk about her.
Yes.
Let's jump into her. Enough about Michael Caine. Let's talk about Lorraine Gary.
Let's jump into her like Michael Caine did in this movie.
Oh God. She's only been in 4 movies, or no? Are those just the 4 movies she's known for?
Yeah,
Based on our last episode.
She had a little bit of a career before this. I think she was in a few things. Like she was like a stage actress. So
I know she comes from the TV world.
Yeah, she had done. Let's see, we can look it up. But what I thought was interesting was we've talked before about she's Sid Sheinberg's wife. He's the producer of this. He was a studio head and a producer of the Jaws movies. Mm-hmm. And I kind of thought in my head that, he's like some old guy, rich movie producer, marries a younger actress, and then immediately insists that she be in all these movies. But that actually wasn't the case. They got married when she was 19 and he was 20. So it wasn't at all what I thought. I'm sure he was trying to get her good roles and everything, but it clearly wasn't because she was, some hot young tootsie that he...
Yeah, she was just probably telling him, like, at night in bed, like, come on, put me in a movie. Like, I'm a good actress, aren't I? Don't you think? And he's like, yes,
like,
you are.
Fine, I'll throw you in the one with the Spielberg kids doing. It looks like a disaster.
Yeah, that'll never take off.
Maybe it's like that episode of The Office where like the boss comes in and he's like, my wife's coming in 5 minutes. She's going to ask you for a job. Whatever you do, do not hire her. But then she's like way too hireable. She just comes in and she just really nails the interview.
I mean, she hasn't been bad in all of these. She's been serviceable in a lot of them. This one, it's kind of, it's just such a terrible part, but...
Well, in the first one, it's like a small part. In the second one, it's a small part, but they try to like give her more to do, and they always light her like really soft and like try to make her look like pleasurable to the eye.
That was the height of the Sid Sheinberg influence because he actually fired the original director of that movie for not making her part big enough.
Yes, that's right. And then in this one, obviously she's the star, so it's like, hey, you're the star, baby. But I feel like
she actually came out of retirement for this. Her last movie was 1941, the Spielberg bomb, and she retired for several years and actually came out of retirement just to do this.
I wanted to see more Hoagie. I really enjoyed Michael Caine. I love that he took this because he wanted to shoot a film in Hawaii. Excuse me.
Bahamas.
Bahamas.
Well, it was filmed in Hawaii.
And it was filmed in
Was it?
Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's pretty much said that the movie wasn't great, but the house it bought is nice. So I really appreciated that. I think there was supposed to be some stuff about him smuggling drugs, which would have been interesting and kind of explained his gambling habit. And also how he can afford so many planes. Because he just puts that one in the drink.
Yep.
That's not a seaplane.
Yeah.
Like, what's your exit strategy there, buddy?
Yeah.
I also had this sneaking suspicion that he was working with the shark. I got that feeling from a lot of scenes in this movie.
There
was a double-cross subplot that they cut out at the last minute.
He owed the shark money.
The way he wrecks the plane, I love it because he definitely really wants to get with the Brodie lady. He's willing to like down a plane to like make sure she's safe. So there's a real romance there. I think the movie should have focused more on their plot
Where'd you
line.
guys see it was filmed in Hawaii? Everything I saw just said it was filmed on location. in the Bahamas and Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, I think it was on IMDb trivia, but I don't know how
Yeah, I read it somewhere
accurate
too.
that can be.
It's possible. I mean, they filmed some of it in the Bahamas for like exteriors and stuff, probably like of the islands or whatever. I don't know. I guess that could be Hawaii too.
Who knows? I guess there's no way to know except for looking on the internet.
What's up with Junior Brodie's wife's art? Do we like it? Do we not like it?
Oh, I want to get into the art and that whole. There's so many like. I feel like there's a great movie here. There's so many like subplots that they didn't explore, like the drug thing that Kyle mentioned. I read about that too. That they could have explored his like, the whole time the son thinks like, what's up with this Hoagie guy? Like he's got a funny name. Something must be up with him. He can't be all perfect on the outside. There must be something deeper. But they never go into it. I think he flat out asks him in one point. He's like, "What do you do when you're not flying my mom around or whatever?" He's like,
He says he delivers laundry.
yeah, he delivers laundry. Exactly. He's a launderer. Get it?
So is it a metaphor though, or I don't know.
We'll never know, Colin. You will never know. But yeah, the art, her like whole thing is all building up to this like art show, and she's got this reveal of the art piece, and like, yeah, I wanted that to be the thing that kills the shark at the end. They dropped
The
that on
art?
it.
Oh, that would have been good.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, in the first scene when we see the art the first time, there's something like they're trying to make scary about it. So are the evil shark spirits, like the evil shark ghosts, are they kind of like hexed on this art thing or something? I don't understand.
I think what it is there's like, it's kind of big and oval shaped with some jagged edges. I think it's supposed to look like a shark's mouth, like the open jaws from Quint's workshop in the first one.
Yeah, the
and
skulls.
she's of course very, what's her name? Chief Brodie's wife is very shark sensitive. So when she sees it, she's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, like an ink blot test, but,
Okay.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
for sharks.
She's just seeing sharks everywhere.
But it's so tough to tell in a movie like this if they're actually implying that there's like evil, shark spirits like, tied to it somehow or not.
Oh, they're I don't know if they're tied to the art, but they're definitely tied to the people. Because
Yeah.
these Sheriff Brodie's wife and Michael Brodie both have shark-related dreams where they
Right.
she can like sense where the shark is. Like she can like sense that it's coming to get them. She can sense when somebody gets attacked by it. She's connected to the shark at one point psychically.
I feel like without Jaws 4, we would never have gotten Harry Potter, for sure.
This is the predecessor.
Yes, absolutely.
J.K. Rowling saw this. She's like, wizard children.
Yeah, they just changed the Dementors to sharks, or the sharks to Dementors. Yeah.
When Brodie, what's her first name? Ellen Brodie, like first steps into the water and like spins around and like senses that the shark is in the water, like near her. I mean, my God, like that's actually. I wish they explored it more. I wish the whole movie was about her investigating like why this is happening to her, and then the discovery is that she has some sort of psychic connection with the shark somehow.
Right. There's a whole story there you could do about how everyone like obviously thinks she's going insane and want to like
Yeah.
get her into a mental hospital when every once in a while she finds a real clue.
Well, I have a question. Is this the shark from 3? Is this supposed to be the same shark?
No.
Funny you should ask, because as it turns out, 3 doesn't exist in this world. That's been like retconned out of this.
Oh.
Because in 3, both the Brodie boys are like essentially the same age, even though it takes place much farther in the past, and they both have totally different jobs and careers and girlfriends and whatever. Because Dennis Quaid in Jaws 3 is technically several years older than this guy, whatever his name is. Is it
Like
Josh
Lance
Guest?
something?
What is his
No,
name?
it's Lance.
Lance Guest. But he's older than him, and he's not a marine biologist. He's like an engineer. And his girlfriend is a marine biologist, not an artist. And the other kid is not a sheriff. And it's just all, they basically just said, fuck Jaws 3. And it's always a different shark, too. So these sharks have to be like, the shark never survives these movies. So it's not like Jason or something where he's getting resurrected. It's like always the shark's giant angry cousin.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, what's the revenge? Does this shark knew the previous sharks? Like, were they friends? And then found out this family has been killing his friends, cousins, siblings.
They went to the bar together.
The sandbar.
Oh, God.
Yeah, what I think they're implying is that like Jaws itself is actually a ghost or a demon that possesses the actual great white sharks. So it's like the evil shark spirit that's like floating out there in the universe, right? And then it becomes embodied when it finds a shark big enough to eat whatever it wants. So it goes in, you know, and then that shark, and then that shark becomes Jaws. And
so it's like the Chucky of sharks.
Yeah, exactly. Much like Chucky. Very, very Chucky-like. And that's why. And the
Yes.
ghost, it hates the Brodie family.
Okay. That's my headcanon now. I'm adopting that as official.
The obvious solve here is that the Brodie family should just move to Kansas or like
Yes.
go somewhere where there's
Yes.
no fucking water or the ocean, you know? But like this movie
Yeah.
tries so hard to like enforce that. So the son is a marine biologist and she obviously realizes that that's bad because he's in the water all the time. And she goes up to him and she's like, you need to like pick a new job. Just pick a new job. And he's like, no, Mom, get the hell away. And she's like, all right. You know, and it just lets it go.
Yeah.
Like she barely tries to convince him. It's so stupid.
Now, do you think he picks a new job after this? Because they really don't settle anything at the end of this movie. That shark is still going to come and kill him if it wants. So, you know, but he's now convinced that his mother's right, that the shark is after them. So like every time he gets in the water, he's always got to be thinking in the back of his head, ooh, I hope another giant shark isn't hunting me
Right.
again.
I also think maybe moving to Kansas won't even work. What if like Jaws 5 starts out with scientists, you know, out in the ocean and they find a shark that's repeatedly swimming in a circle to build up momentum. And it starts using that centrifugal force with the underwater swimming to get so fast that he just slides all the way across the land. Like he picks up speed, he gets on the interstate, and he just slides right by the cars. And then
On the other hand, there are also the corn
sharks as well.
which, you know, the corn sharks are.
I mean, this might be the genesis of the SNL land shark. If those are in the same universe, that
We've
could
finally
be.
done it. We've put legs on sharks.
I would love to see
the lower body of a man, the head of a shark.
I would also love to see, you know, some sort of cover song in there of this land is your land, this land is shark land, something like that, you know.
Or we could just use the Dr. Octopus song, Dr. Octagon, half alligator, shark, half man.
Oh.
Did you guys ever hear
No.
that? It's very good.
Sounds made up.
No.
We'll have to look it up.
Colin, you would like
You'd
Dr.
have to make
Octagon,
that up.
and you would like half alligator, shark, half man. But yes, I think the Brodies would get eaten no matter where they go. There's no running away from this shark.
Even
My
space.
least, the worst acted scene in this movie. No offense to Matt and his Lorraine Gary hate, but the worst acted scene in this movie is when the first time that Jake and Mike see Jaws, and it's underwater, and Jake's like, "We got a big fish down here, boy."
Pretty bad.
Lord of mercy.
Lord of mercy.
Mr. Lova.
Yeah. And then the shark jumps up out of the water. The shark, basically the size of like a small school bus, jumps out of the water and starts eating the raft that they're on. And Michael Brodie like stands up, and the two black guys that are out there fishing with him are just like, they like raise their eyebrows up and they sort of sit back and they're like, "Oh, it's a big shark trying to eat our raft." It's like,
Yeah.
there's no screaming. There's like, "Holy shit, this is the biggest shark I ever saw. I hope it doesn't kill us all." They're all just like, "Wow, that shark really wants to eat this raft." Like they're so like just not too terrified by, like, this might have happened before.
like literally.
No one is that terrified, including the audience.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, that big shark's back trying to eat the raft again." Oh,
I've seen crazier shit, man.
Yeah, if it was real life, that's like literally something that, unlike anything they had ever seen before in their lives, doing something that they had never seen before in their lives.
yeah, like jets of shit shooting out of their pants and hitting the deck of the thing, and then they slip on the shit and they fall on the shit, but they're still screaming and just screaming and flailing their
They don't
limbs
even yell.
like madmen.
They don't.
They don't say anything like, "Oh, wow."
There's a couple guys who
Nice
don't
shark.
even say anything. They just
Yeah,
sit there.
they're literally That might have been like a producer note of like, hey, if these guys don't say anything, we don't have to pay them for today. They're like, these guys are background until they utter written lines, so make sure they don't talk in this scene.
They're just like shrugging a whole bunch.
Yeah, they're seeing a giant shark that's trying to eat them. Yeah, but just make sure they don't say anything about it. So what is my motivation here? You are unimpressed by this Cessna-sized shark. Yeah. You are slightly alarmed. Set down your beer, possibly inch away from the edge of the deck.
Well, here's a hot take. I think my favorite part of this whole movie, I think the most like well achieved set piece is the opening sequence when the brother gets killed in the boat.
Really?
Do you guys like that part?
He puts his arm inside his jacket. And starts.
Yeah, they should have gotten a guy with skinnier arms.
No, I love that he doesn't realize it at first. He's like,
I know. Yeah. He falls backwards and he's like, oh, where's my arm? And then he freaks out. Like, until then, he's like, oh, that was a close one. Oh, no, I've got no arm. And then he's just inconsolable.
I saw this movie as a kid, and I remember like being scared of this scene. And I think I asked one of my parents, I don't remember who, and I was like, can that really happen? Like, why did that guy not realize that his arm was... And, like, one of my parents, whoever I talked to, was like, yeah, the shock of it, like, could make you, like, not realize it. And I was like, oh, yeah, this movie's legit.
I came to realize that the reason why the shark probably found the Brodie family is because that guy yelled all of his lines in that opening scene. He was yelling everything. And that's clearly how the shark... found the family is because Sean was yelling everything. Yeah, he was very loud.
Like, he's literally helping her like grill the same fish in the same pan. He's like touching her. He's still shouting everything.
Has there ever been a more tragic character in the history of movies than Sean Brodie, who, like, when he's still a toddler, his parents move him from New York to an island where he will spend the entirety of his life. He never gets off that island again. Nope. And he will be on that island despite the fact that he will never be considered an islander because he technically wasn't born there, even though he spent almost his entire life there. His first experiences, like probably his first memories, right when he's at the age where you start creating memories, are of people getting eaten by sharks all around him and him almost getting eaten by a shark. Later on, he will see his de facto babysitter get gobbled up, saving his life by a shark.
Yep.
He will have a terrible fear of the water, which he overcomes when he visits his brother in Florida and meets a cute girl who is immediately almost eaten by a shark right next to him. And then he goes home to become a cop, where his dad was a cop, and finally seemingly overcomes his fear of the water, only to have a shark bite off his arm.
In the dead of winter.
And then it's like, it's not even quick.
Also...
Yeah, it's the dead of winter. The shark jumps out of nowhere, bites off his arm. He's not smart enough to drive the boat back to safety. He sits there yelling for help, and the shark eats him right out of the boat.
And sinks the boat.
Doesn't even... Sinks the boat, and then doesn't even really eat him right away. Just sort of leaves him there bobbing in the water, screaming for help for a while before he finishes him off. It is a terrible life and a horrifying
And you forgot
death.
something, too.
But then they also had the body, somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The shark eats Sean, but then immediately crafts him out full body for the autopsy.
But remember, Kyle, the shark isn't eating to sustain itself. The shark is eating for revenge. So
for vengeance.
It's just eating enough parts to really make it unpleasant for him.
That's a real wink to the audience there. That's
the shark was probably doing like a boxing Helena thing where it tried to eat off all his limbs, hoping he'd survive. And that's the shark's real revenge. It's like, think of me every time somebody else has to wipe your ass, Sean Brodie.
Colin, let's summarize the plot. For last time.
Harris
for Jaws.
forgot another reason this guy's life was torturous. His father is also like a highly ridiculed public figure this entire time.
No matter what he does.
Yeah.
Both his parents are drunks. Yeah.
And alcoholics.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody respects his dad.
Okay, we're gonna summarize it. I'll try.
Make sure you get all the voodoo stuff in there.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
On your mark, get set. Jaws the Revenge.
All right, it's Jaws the Revenge. So, it looks like there's something creeping around in the water. Maybe it's Jaws again, because I guess he lives forever since we've seen him die 3 times already. Whatever. We start out with Ellen Brodie and her son in the kitchen, and her son's a sheriff now, and they're having like a an interaction in the kitchen, and the brother calls and he's like, "Mom, I'm doing stuff down in the Bahamas, blah blah blah." So then the sheriff kid goes out on a boat, and Jaws gets him. He gets him. He sinks the boat, kills him real bad, and this traumatizes Ellen Brodie really bad. So then the brother comes up, and he's like, "Oh, come back down to the Bahamas with us. Everything will be fine." And she's like, "I don't want you working in the water." And he's like, "Well, sharks don't live down in the Bahamas. The water's too warm." So they all fly down there, and they meet this guy, Hoagie, and he's like, "Hey, I fly planes, and I like to do that." And then her and Hoagie have a romance, but the whole time something's afoot. You know why? Because the shark swam the fuck down there and is starting to kill people. But not starting to kill people. It's really just targeting specifically them. Only people who were directly related to Brodie, because the shark is motivated in that way, because that's what the movie says. So this guy, Brodie Jr. is studying conch shells, and then he realizes, oh, the shark's after me. So then his friend Mario Van Peebles decides to put a tracker on the shark, and they do, and they track it, but they track it and find out that it's still coming after him. So then then Ellen Brodie gets traumatized again when the shark almost kills her granddaughter, but kills someone else instead because it was a near miss. So she goes out on a boat, and Michael Caine flies everyone over there and crashes this plane into the water so they can all get on the boat. And then they use the boat to ram the shark after Mario Van Peebles is horribly injured. But he does survive, and then everyone's happy.
Beautiful. You nailed it.
Yeah.
That was the best anyone's done at that summary in a long time.
It was so hard to summarize without making it real clear that the movie's nonsense.
Well, I don't think you succeeded in summarizing it without sounding like nonsense, but that was an impossible task.
Yo, let me just tell you guys, when I saw this movie as a kid, I saw it on TV, and the ending is way different. I'm sure you guys have done the research, and we've talked about kind of briefly what the original ending was, but the shark gets stabbed, Mario Van Peebles dies, and that's it. He does not come back, and the shark does not explode. The shark wriggles around when it's stabbed, and its movements destroy the boat, and everyone jumps off, and then it sinks, and that's kind of the end of the movie. I don't know why they had to change it. I don't know why they thought that ending didn't work, but now it just explodes nonsensically. And then
I was looking online because I really wanted to see if that was better, because really one of the most incompetent and poorly edited parts of this movie are the shark explosion.
Yeah.
I mean, forget about the fact that it didn't make sense. It wasn't even put together well.
Yeah, it was because they kept cutting back and forth between the original movie, but they did it so much in that little segment that I thought that was the original shark, and I was waiting for them to cut back to what happened to this shark, and then it just sank, half exploded. I was like, oh, this one blew up too for reasons, I guess.
They also make it really clear in this
Yeah.
movie that Ellen Brodie is a psychic. She has
Oh, yeah.
memories and visions of past events that she never witnessed.
Yep. Yeah, we constantly see flashbacks to Sean's death and to Brodie shooting the shark, which are two things that she was not there for.
She has no.
Yeah,
she's-
she had a very powerful shark
Yeah.
sense.
So is that her connection with the shark? Is that her Here's the question. We know that there's shark spirits, shark ghosts, shark curses in this world. Is her ESP?
Do we though?
We have to know. We're forced to know. Is her ESP a separate thing from that? Is she also
SSP. It's shark sensory perception.
Of course. Is it a separate thing? Was she psychic also, or is the psychic stuff just coming from the world of shark ghosts, the shark ghost realm? I guess is that where that's all.
Did she know that she had this extrasensory ability before the events of this movie? Was she picking up on things, or is this new to her?
Or will she keep it after this movie?
It's one of those minor superheroes with a super useless power, like how Aquaman can talk to fish, but except she only has this connection, this psychic connection with this one giant shark who wants to murder her. It's the worst superpower ever. It's I can talk to this giant shark. The problem is it's hunting me and wants to kill me.
She's literally a C-list character in an Aquaman only story run, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the creators of this movie attempted to explain the events of this movie in a preamble that ultimately got cut from this movie. I sent it to these guys. You could find it online. Colin, do you still have it queued up on your phone? I'd love for you to play it right now.
Okay.
It's so short. We could just do it.
It's just like the
I'd love to
most
break this
vague.
down.
It's the most vague thing ever. It's just like using a lot of words to say as little as possible. That's how it's done. Here we go.
That was just like, hey, justification. This isn't that thing.
Since time immemorial, events have taken place with no evident reason for their happening. Such phenomena
Things have
has
happened.
been man's dilemma and
There's
the
a lot of
subject
vague
constant
words.
philosophical discussions. When there is no factor motivating an event, no case of cause creating effect, what triggered the action?
It's not bad writing.
Fate or circumstances? What you are about to see concerns such an
Or
event.
lazy screenwriters.
Maybe you can determine whether we are dealing here with circumstances or fate.
You see what they did there? The first time
They
they
really-
said fate or circumstances, and the second time they said circumstances or fate. So it sounds like they're saying new information when they clearly aren't from one sentence to the next.
Someone just bought a new thesaurus and really wanted to use it. Really wanted to stretch that thesaurus's legs.
Yeah.
I'm so mad that they cut that out.
Yeah, actually, that would have made this movie a little more, at least it would be like a little hat tip to the fact that, yeah, we fucked up and none of this makes sense. Just bear with us.
This
Go
movie's
with it.
already being pretty straightforward about what it's doing. Like, I feel like that would make it even more straightforward about, this is pretty much nonsense.
Another thing this movie is pretty straightforward about is I feel like this is kind of a movie that for all the gibberish and nonsense in it, it also sort of over-explains itself in some ways.
Yes.
Like we have that scene because we've got these sepia-tinged flashbacks that are Ellen Brodie's memories. And one of them she has of when little Sean and Chief Brodie's depressed because he can't kill the shark and everyone's dying and everyone hates him. And then Sean cheers him up by mimicking him at the kitchen table, which is like, okay, fine. So we see that flashback and we're like, oh, she's thinking of Sean and memories of happier times with her dead husband and her dead son. Okay, fine, whatever. But then later in this same movie, they have her granddaughter play out the same scene with her son Michael at the kitchen table when he's depressed and stressed out over the shark. And it's kind of like one or the other. Like either have the flashback where we're like, oh, she's thinking about her son, or have the callback independent of that for the people who remember the first movie. But when you do both, it's like you're just spelling it all out for us. And I don't know, it just seemed really like a silly decision.
Yeah, I don't think we needed the flashback. I mean, like if we saw them reenact the scene with the daughter, like you would know what they're doing,
I just think Jaws 4 is very in your face about the fact that it's Jaws 4. If that makes sense, I don't know.
Well, there was the opening part where he's cutting vegetables and cuts himself, and he says blood adds flavor, and it's like, oh, you guys are just already just rubbing your faces into what this movie's going to be about, aren't you? No subtlety here.
Yeah, I like that whole opening, man. Like it's Return to Amity. This movie kind of tricks you. It's like, oh, we're back in Amity where the first two movies took place, or at least the first one. Like, oh, that was the good one. I like this setting, And then and we see some old characters. The old lady who works there is still the same old lady.
Yeah, she's gonna outlive us all.
Yep. They've got a picture of Brodie on the wall.
What about the great line? The shark's gonna kill us just like it killed your father. Ma, Dad died of a heart attack. Well, it was from the shark.
The fear
It was
got him.
the fear.
Yeah, the fear of sharks. He lived with it for 25 years, and then he smoked a pack a day because of the fear of sharks and all the drinking. It was all because of the
Maybe
sharks.
it's because the only things he ever consumed were cigarettes, coffee, alcohol, and donuts.
And who do you think bought him all of those things?
The
The shark.
The sharks. Every time he tried to quit, the shark would be like, "Hey, Hey, it's a pack of smokes. Just fell off a truck.
Again, I'm telling you, shark in a trench coat delivering a carton of cigarettes. It writes itself.
More than a man-eater, more than a killer, he's an instigator.
He's a bad influence. That
Sorry,
shark.
Sheriff Brodie. Did you quit these? Well, I guess I'll just leave them out here. Maybe some kids will take them.
The shark says, when I knew I couldn't get him with the chompers, I knew I had to get him with the long game.
Lung cancer.
Yeah.
Lung
Let's talk about some of the supporting cast members. Specifically, we've discussed him a little bit already, but Mario Van Peebles,
Yes.
the actor-director. Did you guys know that his dad has a cameo as like the city, I don't know if he's the mayor or the councilman or whatever.
In this?
But his dad, Melvin Van Peebles, famous director, plays the, no? Yeah. So.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I got to get in on this movie. This one's going to be a classic.
Well, I knew he was from Good Peoples.
it's pretty good.
You know what my favorite cereal was growing up? Fruity Peebles.
Oh, nice. You know, Mario Van Peebles used to wrestle with The Rock. They used to both do the Peebles elbow.
Everyone who is listening is no longer listening.
Oh, God, someone's
This is
attacking
all
me.
me.
No.
Come on, there's so many more Peebles puns you could do.
Did you guys recognize the wife? What's his name? The son's wife in this movie, the artist. Did you guys watch The Sopranos? Any Sopranos fans?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was like an FBI
She's
agent
the
or something.
FBI
in that?
agent,
Yeah.
She was recognizable to me, but I didn't know from where because I've seen a lot of Sopranos, but I seen it out of order. So
Yeah, I had to look her up. I totally recognized her, and I'm like, she's from something I know. And then I was going down her IMDb, and then I saw The Sopranos, and it just hit me. I didn't recognize what's his name, Lance. What's his name?
Lance Guest.
Lance Guest. Yeah, I didn't recognize him from anything.
He really hasn't done much except for obviously The Last Starfighter was his big breakout.
I haven't watched that in a long time.
Was that before this or after?
I think it has to be before.
That was, it was a couple years before. He was in Halloween 2 also. But I don't really remember him from that. But obviously, he was less. My favorite part of The Last Starfighter is how they have a robot clone of him who's like kind of I just thought that was a neat idea that they sent a robot clone that was like supposed to take his place while he was playing video games.
Oh, yeah. Last Starfighter is fucking sweet. That's a good movie. I want to
That is
watch
a
it
good movie,
again
yeah.
soon.
That should have been one of our Jaws bonus movies. And New Jack
Yeah.
City, little Mario
Yeah.
Van Peebles joint.
Yeah, man. I'm like, Jeebles, Clareebles. Where did you get those Van Peebles? Am I right?
Wow.
That isn't even a pun. That's just gibberish. You're just talking nonsense.
But it's just like the movie, the
broke your
gibberish of
brain.
this movie.
Yeah,
Wait.
exactly.
So wait, like, you said the shark puppet was good, but when they put the tracker on the shark puppet, as the shark puppet's swimming away, it stops swimming away and does like elevator down into the water. It's like, how is the shark doing that? Come on.
You can straight up see the fin like torn in half in one shot. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, because the shark took some damage.
Why isn't it bleeding then?
It was all scarred up and everything. It's pretty good shark. I thought it was pretty good. I thought for the time, for the technology, I thought it was.
How does a shark swim straight down?
It always seemed to be listing to one side. Like it was always like slightly tilted to the left. Like they broke the rig day one, and they're like, all right,
That's just its
we
look now.
Can't afford to fix this. We're just he's just gonna be
the gyroscope's damaged.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it just kind of
Well,
spins.
it's not
wildly.
perfect. It's not perfect, guys. But this is the first time we've had like a, when it bites, you can see its whole face is moving, and like the teeth are moving separate from the jaw, and I just thought it was a pretty sophisticated piece of underwater electronics that I thought was passable.
Okay.
I mean, they just show it too much. That's the problem.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with every Jaws movie besides the first one.
It demystifies
but I thought
it.
it was impressive that this is the one they show it the most, and you really get a sense of the size of it, and it's not like completely impossible to suspend your disbelief. It's like you can be like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's a giant shark. Somehow they're making it look like it's chasing a guy through a shipwreck.
Oh, also,
That part was kind of cool.
when their engine is disabled, they're in a sailboat. Like, why don't they just sail away?
Yes, amazing. It's like they're working so hard to fix this engine, and I'm like, so none of you guys know how to sail? You own a sailboat, you dummies.
It's their
like,
boat. It's
I don't
their
know.
boat.
Yeah, that kind of doesn't make
So
any
many
sense.
questions.
So many questions.
Wait, was that their boat? Didn't she just steal that boat?
Yeah, but they joined her
From them,
Yeah,
from
yeah,
herself.
She stole it from. It's Mario Van Peebles' boat.
Because that was another confusing thing. She just jumps on that boat and takes off, and you're like, your husband had like 2 guys and a bunch, like a plan, and they barely made it out.
And
like, what was your
her plan?
Exactly, exactly. What was your strategy? What was your?
When they
what was
ask
your...
her, she won't say.
Yeah,
yeah.
her plan was to get eaten, I guess. She was sacrificing herself to the shark gods.
That's kind of what I thought. Is that if she thought that if the shark ate her, then it would stop? Maybe?
And this is just like her to make it all about her, you know? Like it's got all sorts of family members that it wanted to eat.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. She should have at least had a grenade on her or something like that guy from Jaws 3, where at least she could have if she's going to sacrifice herself, she should at least have a plan of how she's going to destroy it from the inside, or at least a knife so she could try to get swallowed whole and then stab her way out, That would have made more sense.
I like how Mario Van Peebles just comes up. He just invents this thing in a second with some duct tape and a flashlight. He's like, yeah, it'll really upset the shark if we push a button, And the other guy's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, man. And then they just build it.
And apparently, if you smash that device, it'll also explode the shark.
I guess.
Yeah.
They don't explain why. Did they even need that? If the shark, I guess that's what made the shark jump out of the water enough to stab it with the
Right.
But
made it roar.
Which I think was the premise. Of the Jaws video game.
It was.
too,
I remember
where you,
that game.
You had to zap the shark out of the water and then hit it with your boat, which I didn't understand at the time because I had never seen this movie. This is also at least the third of these 4 movies where we learn some new bullshit about what sharks are attracted to. It's they're attracted to blood and thrashing things. Those are true, I
Sound.
believe. But who even knows at this point? They're attracted to banging sounds. They might be attracted to electricity. They're definitely attracted to electromagnets. But they're also bothered by electromagnets. It's it's all just insane, and they just make up rules for whatever.
Is there an electromagnet inside of a crashed plane? Is that? I mean, they didn't even really describe that. They just needed to explain that the shark will be attacking the plane next.
Oh, when the shark smashes through the hull of the shipwreck, that's a pretty good scene, and that shark looks pretty good.
Yeah, that was rad.
Okay.
And also, it's pretty smart the way he uses his little air thing to blast himself out. Sorry, I'm watching this as it happens. But
I was confused in that scene because it looked really intentional for him to go into the shipwreck as if he knew where he was, and then at some point he obviously has no fucking idea what he's doing or where he is. So
no, he knows where he is. The shipwreck was closer to the raft, and then he just needed to find a way to get up there fast.
but when he
See, I thought he was going into the shipwreck because he knew the shark couldn't fit
Right.
in the shipwreck,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, the shark's just going down the hallway, just do. I can
through
totally
walls.
fit in this thing.
I'm only as big as I have to be.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think that was the best sequence in this movie because it was he's trapped underwater with a shark. The shark eats his little submersible mini sub thing, and he's forced to improvise, and he manages to swim to the shipwreck, and that doesn't really it only slows the shark down, and then the shark busts through the wall just as he had come up with his plan to get back to the raft. I just thought it was a clever situation, a little bit of tension. They actually created tension, which didn't happen often. And I did think the shark busting through the wall was an awesome, you see it come through kind of in slow motion, and then you cut to the full-on giant shark face, wrecking that ladder and, almost eating him.
okay.
Has there ever been a movie that is more insulting to your intelligence than this movie? Just on a conceptual level, the very
We've watched a lot of them.
yes we have, but I mean I'm just watching this scene right now and I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, but then my mind goes to okay, but this shark is only hunting him out of pure revenge.
Right.
This shark knows who this man is,
Right.
and wants to kill him.
I spent several times just shouting at the screen why does the shark know who they are? Just
Yeah.
over
And
and
how?
over again. How?
You guys have enjoyed so many Bond movies where suspension of disbelief is the ticket in. Like, if you can't suspend your disbelief, like, you guys like Moonraker, for Christ's sake. It is the dumbest movie, one of the dumber movies ever, not even the dumbest Bond movie, but one of the dumber movies ever made. It demands a lot of buy-in to just sort of get into it. This movie is asking you to believe one thing, that
it's a hard ask,
family of sharks, that a family of sharks has a sustained grudge against a family of humans and somehow tracks them psychically and wants to murder them all for revenge. And you guys can't make that
That's
little
a big
jump
ask.
to try to enjoy this classic
It's a
film.
big ask.
Oh my god, that is a very big ask.
It's like The Godfather, but the Corleone family is sharks. Right.
Right.
Exactly. It's kind of like a great American tragedy. It's like a great, it's like Romeo and Juliet, but everyone's sharks and some are people.
Yep. Sharkzini's a pimp.
Luca Sharksy.
Lucas Sharksy. He sleeps with the fishes. What? Oh, that sounds good, right?
Lucas Sharksy
Yeah,
sleeps with the
that's
fish.
good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, he loves
Yeah.
fishes. Shark father.
Shark father.
I come here today on the day of your shark daughter's wedding
Yes.
Your minnows.
to ask
wedding.
you for a shark favor.
He keeps using his fins to like do that thing that where
Scratch
Yeah.
his chin. Yeah.
Why has the shark father never been made?
You come here today to ask me to do murder for you, and you don't even have the decency to call me shark father.
No joke. This sounds like we could make this as an animated film. The Shark Father, but it's literally The Godfather, but with animated sharks.
I think it would give a lot of backstory to these sharks and their motivation and why the revenge was so important to them.
And most
I'm on
importantly-
board.
Yeah, it would finally unite the Godfather and Jaws cinematic universes into one comprehensive cinematic
something
universe.
everyone's been asking for.
Also Footloose.
Did anybody else catch a little bit? There was Hoagie told a story about being in a jungle, and I immediately thought, is this the Alfred story from Dark
said the
Knight?
same
Like,
thing.
did Hoagie change his name to Alfred and then become a butler after the events of this movie?
Yeah, dude.
It's a prequel. It's all just a shared
Again,
world.
I wanted to see him finish the story with some men just want to watch the world burn, and then she like moves into the pilot seat, but like facing the other way, and I think we all know what happens
Yeah,
next.
just like in what is that? Is that movie The Chase?
I think
Is that
so.
what
It's
called?
been a long
Yeah.
time since I've seen it, but that scene's hot.
With Christy Swanson, is she the girl?
Yes, Christy Swanson.
Hoagie-
yes. Like, maybe peak Christy
Hoagie needs
Swanson.
his
I loved her in that
pilot's
movie.
license revoked, man. This guy is not a safe flyer. Let's be honest.
Just because he knows how to have fun.
He's letting like a 8-year-old steer the plane.
And she was good. She was
They're,
a
like at
natural.
low altitudes, just like fucking around. He could have killed them all. They don't have seatbelts on or anything.
No, he wouldn't have killed them all. The 8-year-old
Right.
would have.
I will say, Michael Caine. This is the most intelligible that I've ever heard him in a movie before. I understood every line that he said. I feel like in the Batman movies, I always have to put the subtitles on because I can't understand him with his accent.
He was charming.
It was a little cafe in Florence. He used to get a Fernie Branca.
Rene Branca. There's Melvin Van Peebles right there.
Oh yeah, good old Melvin Van Peebles. Have you guys ever seen Badass? Or Sweetback's Badass song, the movie he made, like his big breakout blaxploitation movie.
Nope.
No, I thought New
That's
Jack
an
City
avenue
was.
I have not gone down.
No, not
Oh.
Mario. Melvin, his dad, made like one of the first big blaxploitation movies that was so popular it kind of created that genre. And what's interesting about it is, in that movie, Mario Van Peebles, in his first film role, and he wasn't a child actor really. He didn't do a lot until he was an adult, but he played a younger version of his father in that movie, and his father was playing a pimp, and he had a fairly explicit sex scene, even though I think he was like 12 years old or something.
Wow.
And it was very scandalous because it was like, they were like, oh, you know, contributing to a delinquency of a minor or something like that. It was, people were like, oh, you should be brought up on charges. She is literally sailing this or boating this sailboat out, and they're like showing they're zooming in.
Did we just
on, like,
move
the
on
boom,
from the
the
12-year-old
sail on the
having
boom of
sex
this
like
ship.
that?
I'm sorry. I'm watching the thing, and I'm just
unlike you,
that
Colin, Harris doesn't harp on these things.
You didn't even pause at all. It was all like one sentence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he actually had sex.
Okay.
I mean, this poor woman, she's like, doing this art piece installation. She's working hard on it, and all her recognition gets stripped away during this horrible shark attack. Like, suddenly no one gives a shit about her artwork anymore.
Yeah, I also thought it was funny that the white lady,
That's the real revenge.
the white lady who just moved there is like now the local Bahamian artist who's really capturing the spirit of the people. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
This is a little. I mean, it's very nice of the mayor to give such a nice speech about it, but this seems a little problematic. Is this really the spirit of the Bahamas? This white lady from America came down here and finally captured who we really are.
Oh my god, this banana boat scene is also like the fucking best part of the movie.
I just couldn't stop thinking about the Chris Bosh and LeBron James and Dwayne Wade on the banana boat in Miami.
The Banana Boys, or what do they call them?
I think Chris Paul was on it too, but he didn't join the team, so we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
And they were not attacked by a giant shark.
If the shark has the ability to single out their family members, going past a generational gap to the granddaughter, how is the accuracy? How did it bite the wrong woman? Is it because the proximity on a banana boat is so close? Is it the movement of the banana boat? It seems like the shark.
It didn't miss by much.
Yeah, it seems like that shark doesn't miss, though. Is the thing.
The daughter's pretty small. It's usually eating adults.
True.
Harder to aim at a little girl.
Okay.
I mean, the woman who got eaten was hot. Maybe the shark is a total perv and just like changed his mind.
I would believe that.
Or
Believe that.
Maybe he was just eating his way from the back to the front. He felt like he had to eat her to get her out of the way, and then he could get to the daughter.
Oh yeah.
He was willing to eat as many
Shark
people
strategy,
as it took.
that is.
Yeah.
Like the snake game.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
What if when the shark ate, it grew? Like, would that be? I mean, we were already suspending our disbelief like quite a bit.
I think there's a game like that. I think there's actually a game where you play as a shark, and every time you eat, you get bigger. It's a video game.
It's just a regular fish, and you get bigger. It's called Feeding Frenzy.
I don't know
played
if
that video game.
one.
I know what shark game you're talking about, though. I have it. I forget what it's called. Man-eater, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's called like Hungry Shark O's.
I don't know. Echo the Dolphin was a good game.
Echo the Dolphin.
Remember that
Well, I
one?
feel like this shark game that I'm talking about has a similar mechanic for how the shark swims.
Yeah, but the music in Echo the Dolphin was just that Genesis, that Sega.
The music in this movie was really good, I thought, again. They used enough of the Jaws theme, but they added enough good... I didn't like the music in Jaws 3, and I felt like the music in Jaws 2 was but this music uses just enough of the original theme and adds a lot of other good stuff.
Kyle, what did you think? Which shark bite was the best bite? What's the best bite from this movie?
The best.
There's not
the best
many.
nibble. Yeah, he doesn't. The shark doesn't really eat a lot of people. It's Sean and
Banana
then
Boat Girl.
Is it just the banana boat girl who kind of just falls into his mouth? Like that was the other thing. It seemed like the shark's mouth was just kind of constantly open.
He eats.
Oh,
I mean,
he eats half of Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah, he eats Jake and doesn't eat Hoagie at all, which is another reason why I think that Hoagie and the shark are.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Because he totally sinks that plane, and then Hoagie's just on the other side of the boat, and if we do this animated series, I want an underwater Hoagie shark talking, be like, all right, I'm gonna go up here and get their confidence, and then you eat the boat, that kind of thing.
Hoagie should be the consigliere, Tom Hagen or whatever. Is that his name?
Tom Hogan.
Because he's not a real Sicilian. He can never be boss. He can never be Don.
Yeah, he's not a real shark
Sicilian.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Hoagie uses the sharks to just like eat people that he owes money to, and then he never has to pay. That's how he has so many planes, because he just flies off in a different plane at the end.
Why couldn't they have just made this a pontoon plane? Like, if they knew they were going to have a scene where they had to land on the water later.
Because him crashing it is significant. It
but
shows
also
something.
does not make any sense.
None of it makes sense.
It shows both bravery and stupidity.
Yes.
In one fell swoop.
Those are two really important things for the whole like theme and vibe of this movie.
Like, you could have just flown really low, and then they could have just jumped out of that plane into the water.
Into shark-infested water.
Right.
Well, I mean, you got to go into shark-infested water anyway.
I mean, they did jump into the water anyways, regardless.
Yeah.
Question about Hoagie, though. Do you think Hoagie's obviously a nickname? Do you think his real first name is Ruben?
I think his full name is James Sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Alfred. Yeah. I think we've already established the Batman connection.
It's Alfred Hogason.
There's also like a couple.
Hogason.
Sorry. There's also a couple.
Hogbredy, yeah. Hogbredy. My name's Hogbredy, but people call me Hoagie. Hogbredy, I want your gun in your badge. You've gone too far this time.
Go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, sorry. You're not gonna like what I waited so long to say, but
Oh, damn it.
But like when the shark eats the banana boat girl, it definitely looks like he's just like going down on her pussy.
God, Colin, give us a little warning before you get that blue.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, because she's got her legs spread, and
Yes.
she actually leans back and opens her legs a little wider because of this is a good. You probably could have found a more tactful way to phrase it, but this is exactly what happens. It's also like one of the scenes where I think the shark looks good, I think the slow motion looks good, I think the choreography looks good, but you can definitely tell that it's all very choreographed. And there's one moment where it just doesn't happen smoothly. Like they probably could have just yanked a couple of frames out and made it look like it happened quicker, but she clearly is like leaning into the shark's mouth like, oh no, don't eat me, but kind of do.
I don't know. It looks like she was directed to act like oral sex was going on at times to me.
You're
apologies.
really enjoying this, and go.
Yeah, apologies to any of our fans for me saying the P word so abrasively. I'll say vagina next time.
Yeah, or cooch.
We've said way worse shit on this show.
I know.
You could have said twat. I don't know. Something
Anyways.
a little more tasteful.
But it looks like she was directed to make it look like that.
Definitely. I mean, it also
Why?
doesn't help that she also like kind of leans her body back. Like she's like definitely she's into it. She's into it. I think it went wrong for her. She didn't like it later, but at first she was like, okay, maybe.
Should we play a little top four with Kyle?
Yes, let's play top four. Who are we going to do, though?
Of course, we're doing Michael Caine, of course.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, before we jump into this, I had this is a new segment called Afterthoughts, where I thought of something, a point that I was trying to prove on an earlier episode that I just thought of recently. It was for our Christine episode.
Yes.
Remember I was saying that the car is not scary looking, and like aesthetically they could have done something. We talked about making it like giving it angry eyebrows above the headlights.
Right, like I would have at the end of the movie, sort of, for a minute.
Not really, but like on the poster, it could have had it. Like it could have been made to look.
We all agreed that it should have had angry eyebrow headlights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I thought of a great example of like a inanimate object that was given a scary look, and that is the Amityville horror house.
Oh yeah,
it has those windows, like those bay windows or whatever. Yeah, like there you go. Like just the image of that house, in the image of bay windows like that, just like scares me. I drove past a house yesterday that had them, and I was like, oh, it's haunted.
Matt. I think the most horrifying thing is that you felt like this was such an important thing to point out. That
I had to get it out. I had to get it out there.
I also think it's interesting that that's a Patreon episode, so our normal subscribers who are just listening to Jaws, hey, if you want to know what the hell he's talking about, you're going to have to join up, you cheap bastards. Join our Patreon and listen to the Christine episode.
That's just a taste, my friends. That's just a taste.
Yeah, taste. Talking about car eyebrows. This is what we talk about on the Patreon episodes. You're missing all the extended car eyebrow conversations.
So Kyle, top four is a game we play where we choose an actor from a movie and we have to guess the four movies that they are most well known for according to IMDb.
Okay.
So this episode we are focusing on Sir Michael Caine and IMDb. I'm looking at the top four right now, and Kyle, because you are our guest, you can guess first. Please guess one movie that you think is one of Michael Caine's top movies.
He's done so many things with Christopher Nolan. Just that.
He can't
Which
think of any of
Batman
them.
do I pick?
He's like, I know he's done things with Christopher Nolan. Damn it! What are they? What?
Who are they?
What's the name of this?
And then you instantly forget every movie Christopher Nolan's ever made. You're
every
like,
movie
oh,
that's
God.
ever been made.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go Dark Knight.
That's a good guess. Oh, nicely done.
That is correct.
Colin, would you, when you finish looking up Michael Caine's IMDb on your phone, would you like to go next, or should I?
I'm not. The Prestige. What did he guess?
The Prestige. That is
Oh,
correct.
wow, 2 for 2. Oh, I'm fucked. Jeez. Cider House Rules.
Wow, guys, this is a trend. We're going 3 for 3. The last couple times we've played this game, this is unheard of.
All right, Colin.
But you guys will not
Kyle.
guess this last one. I will say that.
Oh no. Okay, Kyle.
What?
Yeah.
It's me again?
And he just said we won't guess it, so it's probably not an obvious one.
Well, mine would be Austin Powers Goldmember.
Wrong.
I don't think that's
That's
it.
a good guess, though.
But I absolutely
not an obvious
love him
one.
in that
Guess.
movie.
Not an obvious one.
Damn. Unfortunate. Nope, that is not correct.
They always throw a fourth one in there that's stupid.
Yeah, you're right.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yes.
Did anyone say The Dark Knight already?
Yeah, God, can you pay
Yes,
attention?
I
in this
can't.
fucking
There's-
podcast that you're a co-host
There's like
of?
an emergency, but there's like a animal emergency that's going on. Sorry.
Can you elaborate?
Shark Attack.
No, I was.
Shark Attack.
I thought today was Tuesday because we usually do it on Tuesday, but on Wednesday I'm supposed to go to someone's house, so I have to like go over there now as soon as we finish this. So anyways, I don't know. This Jaws 4, is it Jaws 4?
Wrong.
No.
All right.
Sorry.
We're going to get to the hint round, so I'll just guess The Italian Job.
Wrong.
Sorry. All right, guys. For the hint, I'm going to read the synopsis of this film, and hopefully one of you has seen it. I'm thinking Harris.
I'll
all
know
of
it
you.
if it's a synopsis. Okay.
Okay, ready? An old British reporter vies with a young U.S. doctor for the affections of a beautiful Vietnamese woman.
Oh, I know this one.
Do you want to just jump in, or Kyle, do you want to take a shot?
No. Harris can take it because I accidentally
Is it
cheated.
The Quiet American?
It is The Quiet American.
Based on a Graham Greene novel
Very good.
with Brendan Fraser, right?
Yes, Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
I tried to watch that movie. I couldn't hear it.
Yeah. The book is really good, by the way, if you ever are interested. Kind of a
Quiet read.
spy. Yeah, it's
Oh.
yeah, it's quiet. It's kind of a historical.
To be
spy
fair, I scrolled past the known for section without knowing that that's what you're referring to because I was just trying to think of non-Christopher Nolan things. that
Well,
he's
you
done.
only got one, and it was the easiest one. So we believe you, Kyle.
Yeah.
If you had cheated, you would have done better.
Yeah, so that's top 4. Wow, it's usually not that quick, but you guys are pretty good. I would say let's play again, but there's literally no one else.
Let's do what's her name, Lorraine Gary.
Hers is super easy.
It's Jaws, 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 and Jaws. Jaws. Is
She
all
wasn't
around.
in the third one.
I know, and yet it's still on her IMDb. They're just like more Jaws.
It's Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 4, and 1941.
Wow, it really
Nice.
is just everything that we would know. Jake is just spitting up blood here in the water. That was definitely. I mean, I actually was looking up. I was trying to find the like a YouTube clip of the original ending because I thought it would be more interesting. But when he pops up and survives, like when Hoagie survives, I was like, that's definitely like the audience likes Michael Caine. They're gonna make him survive, whatever. But when Mario Van Peeble survives, I was like, oh, this is definitely like they test screened this. People fucking hated that a good character that was actually a nice guy and kind of heroic got eaten by a shark for no reason. And they were just like, I know it doesn't make sense. I know we literally saw him dragged to his death with a shark biting him in two, but we're bringing him back.
So bad.
Yeah, this movie is just so bold about like I think I told you guys I think they should have put on the poster brazenly preposterous.
Yes.
I think that would have said everything that needed to be said, and yeah,
I kind of like the ballsiness of it, though. Just
yeah,
like, fuck
if
it,
they
you
had
don't have
put
to
that,
make sense.
if they had put that on the poster, that would have made me want to see the movie when I otherwise would not have wanted to seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they should just go with that. Just run with it. It's brazenly preposterous. Are we ready to wrap this up on that note? Do we have anything else to say?
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's rate this thing.
All right. I'm going to give this a pretty favorable rating because, honestly, I thought the movie... Here's the thing the movie has going for it. First and foremost, the greatest quote in the history of film, except for maybe a couple others. It looks really good. I think it's one of the best looking of these, just in terms of the cinematography. Really crisp, really, just well-framed shots that made a lot of sense. It's well edited, except for a couple of exceptions that I think were mostly cutting around some, weird decisions and studio interference. I thought the score was great, second best score in the series, and I loved the way the shark looked. I thought the shark looked really good, even though we saw too much of it and it wasn't very scary. I was just impressed by the craftsmanship of this movie, and also it had Michael Caine in it and Mario Van Peebles, and they were both enjoyable. And even the kid from The Last Starfighter, who didn't have much career, was pretty enjoyable. So, in general, not a good movie by any stretch. I don't remember what I gave the other ones. I think I gave them both 3s or 4s.
You gave the first one an 8. You gave Jaws 2 a 5, and you gave Jaws 3 a 2.
Oh, Jaws 2 a 5. I must have been on crack. Well, I'm giving this one a 5 too because I couldn't remember, and I'll probably change my Jaws 2 rating. But this one is definitely a 5. 5 Timothy Dolphins.
How the hell did Mario Van Peebles survive this shark attack? He is just getting dragged through the water, bleeding like so much blood.
It makes it. It's just not. It's just not realistic.
The audience
He's
loved
like
him.
he's able to talk after this. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine, Mon," or whatever.
They're joking about how he's not going to die.
Yeah, like half of his guts must be eaten at this point. Whatever.
He could have no legs for all we know.
Yeah.
The shark just noshed him, but he's in shock because he doesn't realize it yet.
Right. He's in shock. Yeah. Okay. What can I say though? I'm a Mario Van Peebles fan. I'm in the People's Republic.
You one more of those, and you're going to get taken to the People's Court.
People's Court. Yes.
Power to the people.
Have you guys ever been to the Peebles Republic of China?
That's what he says when he goes to like China. He's like, I'm Mario Van Peebles.
He just asks people that.
That's what he says when he goes to Chinese food restaurants.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're like, oh yeah, that again. Every time, huh?
Again. Okay, I would like to give this movie a 5 because it's like it's half a movie and half something ridiculous. So 5 is in the middle, right? I don't know, something like that. It's just so crazy. Like, why don't they? I don't know. You could develop a whole like lore and mysticism just off of like what this movie has given us. And I think they should. There should be, shark witches and shark magic and evil shark ghosts, evil shark spirits, maybe good shark spirits. I don't know. The shark looks fake. Whatever. I'm done.
I mean, save it for the Godfather, Jaws, Footloose,
Yeah.
Top Gun spinoff.
Leave the chum, take the cannoli.
Kyle, you want to give it a go?
I'm gonna give it a 4 for Timothy Dolphins. I think they should have leaned into the craziness a little bit. Like the mom sensing the
This
shark.
movie wasn't crazy enough for you?
Kind of It wasn't. It needed to go. It needed it was kind of like trying to balance on the fence. Like just go full tilt and say that the mom can sense sharks. They clearly couldn't do any jump scares, so they did them in flashbacks or dream sequences. Excuse me. Like the dream sequences were the only thing where it was like she makes the daughter not or grandkid not go in the water, and then the next scene is her literally taking a swim, and you're like,
oh my God. I just realized as many people got eaten in dream sequences as did in the actual movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the dream, it was like the Freddy Krueger of shark movies. Like, you're only in danger when you're dreaming
You're
about
just adding
the
to
shark,
this combined
essentially.
universe. The Freddy Krueger,
Yes.
Godfather, Jaws,
Yeah.
Footloose, Top Gun, extended universe.
It's all working.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, you're done. Do you have anything
Yeah,
more to say?
all right. I could have gone more crazy or complete slapstick comedy, and then it would probably gotten like a 8, like a Hot Shots Part 2 kind of thing.
For sure.
Dad died of a heart attack. It was the shark that gave him those.
It was the shark that gave him that carotid artery.
Kept on sneaking butter into our margarine bowls.
The shark was impersonating his doctor. It was a misdiagnosis.
We sued, but the shark hospital wouldn't recognize our lawyer because he wasn't a shark. They're racist against humans.
There's no
And Jews specifically.
This is the problem with shark doctors. This is why I told him you should never go to that shark doctor again.
This time it's personal. Indeed, this movie truly was personal.
But why? Sharks don't have feelings like that.
We should have known from the tagline alone of this movie that it was going to be a piece of shit. Like, imagine the people in 1987, like months before this movie comes out, they start seeing the poster pop up in movie theater lobbies, and they look at the poster and they're like, "Oh, this time it's personal." Like,
Oh, that's good.
How could
Because
it be?
my biggest problem with all the previous Jaws movies has been like, what's the shark's inspiration? Like, why is he doing this? That's really where it's been failing. I just need him to be motivated.
Honestly, if the human species ever gets to the point where they're able to communicate with sharks in some way, and they eventually do teach sharks what revenge means, I think we're hundreds of years away. Like, let's be real.
Is that your scientific opinion? I think if we ever could communicate with sharks, it would just be like what we'd learn was they're just always saying like nom 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 nom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this movie goes way back for me. I saw this as a young person, and I remember actually enjoying this movie as a kid because as a kid, a plot like this isn't so far-fetched. You think, could a shark actually know a human family and holds a grudge against them in such a way?
Could it?
I think so. As an 8-year-old or whatever, like, sure, this can happen. I saw the original ending as a kid, which I thought was cooler. I haven't seen it recently. And Harris, you said you looked for it. Is it available online? Did you find it?
I could not find it. It might be, but I looked a little bit. I couldn't find it.
I saw it somewhere because I saw the stabbing part. Was it?
Well, I mean,
I'll
you
see if
see
I can
the
send it to
stabbing
you.
in this movie, but then it's immediately followed by an explosion.
By
It makes no
random
sense.
cutting to various things and then explosions.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was the full stab.
I disagree with Harris on a lot of what he said. I think the editing in this movie is poor. Poor is a good word to describe the way most of the scenes are constructed. I will agree with you that I like the look of this movie, and maybe that's just because we're coming hot off of Jaws 3, which looked like a muddled, like, sludgy piece of crap. This, like, feels more modern. It feels to me like this was made at the same... It looks a lot like Silence of the Lambs. I feel like it has that same, like, filmic quality as that movie. I like that this movie took leaps, very big leaps, but I think, like, changing the location was good. I thought that was cool, even though it makes no logical sense that sharks don't swim in warm water. So, that can never happen. But I do like that they were bold in their decision-making there. I don't like that they brought Lorraine Gary back in as the lead. I think they could have either recast her with someone famous or, like, just gotten rid of that character and had the focus on the son or something, and cast him with someone bigger named.
Not with Sid Sheinberg in charge.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I also like the music in this movie, even though it's just like beefing up the original piece, with adding some more instrumentation to it. Yeah, I don't know. This movie, watching it, I was honestly like kind of on board. I kind of like, I let bygones be bygones, and I kind of rode the wave until really the ending. The ending is so bad and so poorly constructed that it really just like, if you had any shred of hope that this movie could be something tangible, the ending is just so horrible that it just strips it away and just makes you like fucking, if you're holding a drink, you just throw it at the screen. It's really just, I don't know. It's asking too much of you. It's a movie that asks too much of people. And for that, I have to rank this higher. I gave Jaws 3 a 3, and I gave Jaws 2 a 5. And I cannot say that this movie is better than Jaws 2, which is like at least a movie. At least it has a beginning, middle, and end that make coherent sense.
This has that, I think.
I don't know, but I cannot say that this is...
I mean, no, it's the middle that doesn't make sense, but the beginning, it has a beginning and an end.
But Jaws 3 is still worse than this, so I'm going to give this 4 Timothy Dolphins.
Kyle just shared the original ending with us, and as I suspected, it is much more clearly and like logically cut. It's like makes geographical sense. The editing is much better. The shark looks fake as hell, and it's like really the worst the shark looks in the entire movie. And so I can, for that reason, I guess it's better that it explodes rather than just look like a big stupid shark dummy. But at least the editing makes what happens.
You're splitting hairs
clearer
at this point.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, guys. We completed the Jaws franchise. Oh, you know what? This is when we announce the next franchise, right?
I guess
when we usually do it.
I guess so.
I wasn't planning for it, but Harris, you're up, man. You want to sell this one?
Yeah, we can sell this one. Well, this one sells itself because it is the franchise that is not only a great horror franchise, but also, I think, and I'm not the only one who thinks this, the first sequel in this franchise, is the best action movie ever made. It's a very popular opinion. And I think all 4 of these movies are really, I mean, you can complain about the 3rd and 4th one, but they're all pretty high quality. And there will certainly give us a lot to talk about. We're talking about, of course, the Alien franchise, Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. Just a murderer's row of great directors and really interesting movies. So that'll be a fun thing to tackle.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
I think maybe we should get some guests who haven't seen it. Maybe the Alien movies are foreign to them.
I like actually what you're saying, Colin, and I also hate what you're saying.
So dumb.
Love what you said. Hate how you said it.
So dumb. Oh, well.
Well, Kyle Quigley, thanks for being our guest.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, I feel like you didn't get enough to say. We'll have to have you back again another time so you could, tell us I'm sure you're going to think more on this movie and on this episode.
We'll bring you back for your second thoughts segment where you say all the things you forgot to say.
Afterthoughts.
Afterthoughts. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, most of my stuff was, I think Hoagie's in on it, and it was just a lot of questions about just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of questions.
Well, Kyle, do you have anything you're working on that you want to promote, or like, do you want to just give maybe your social media accounts? Where can people?
Can everyone
follow
Facebook friend you?
Yeah.
Give us your LinkedIn handle.
I think my LinkedIn handle is just my name, but
people out there might want to hire you for stuff.
I highly doubt
Hire you
that.
for Michael Caine impressions.
Yeah.
I heard you on that podcast where that guy talks about the shark eating.
Oh, now you can't say it?
You laugh too hard.
No, I don't really have anything to plug, unfortunately. Just kind of a 9-to-5er.
Blue collar all the way.
Blue collar exorcist over here.
Blue collar exorcist.
Yeah, what you got here is a shark that's been possessed by a ghost. And I can take care of it for you.
See, it could have been interesting if, like, the first shark was possessing this shark, and then maybe the second shark was a good shark, and it possessed the mom and was trying to like. There needed to be like a
But now
battle
now
of
it's a
the
shark
conflicting
in a mom's body. So she just sort of flops around on her side, chomping in the air, and they just think she's epileptic or something.
Yeah, and it's the 80s, so they put her instantly in a mental institute.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine if this shark were possessed by the shark from the first movie, and like that's a plot line, and she knows it, and she's trying to explain it to people. Like she's like, Michael, your brother was killed by a shark. Another shark? No, it's the same shark that your father killed
Spiritually.
years ago, or like
Spiritually.
Yeah, no, physically it's a totally different shark, obviously, but no, don't be ridiculous. That shark was blown to bits and would be really old. This is a different shark, but the same one internally.
How do you know this, Mom?
That is what this movie is, though. That very much is the plot of this movie.
Well, Michael, I hired this guy, and he came out and he said, "Listen, lady." You got what you got here. If I seen it once, I seen it a million times. This is classic shark possession.
Yeah, it needed
he
a
told
shark
me this right
whisper.
after he unclogged our toilets.
Yeah, the shark whisper.
Yeah, this movie needed a shark whisper to like put his hand in the water and like sense what was going on.
Oh yeah, this toilet's been possessed. I think I can exercise this toilet. I'm gonna need my plunger.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like, we're in the house. How can he tell what the shark is thinking? Oh, he just stuck his hand in the toilet water, and it's all connected.
Yeah, he just needs to be touching water to get the vibe of it. He just sat in there like, the power of Christ compels you as he plunged. The power of Christ compels you.
Well, there you have it, folks. Is there anything else we forgot to say about this movie?
We've already said far too much.
Look how they massacred my shark boy and lava girl. Get it?
I do get it. For some reason, every other stupid thing you say doesn't make me laugh. But as soon as you throw a random Godfather quote with the word shark in it, I'm like, yeah, that works.
Leave the chum, take the cannoli. God, I'm trying to think of another good... What's another good line from The Godfather?
Come to me on this day of my daughter's wedding and ask me to eat a man.
Thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you to our guest, Kyle Quigley. Thank you to Chris Morocco, a.k.a. C-Rock, for providing his awesome music to this show. Thank you to Max Surwitz, a.k.a. Suburb, for his Jaws remix, which you are hearing right now. Also, don't be a jerk. Join our Patreon by going to patreon.com/L2W and subscribe for just $1. If you like this show, please help support the podcast by joining. You get instant access to over 30 shows of us covering non-franchise classics with a new episode every month. Again, that website is www.patreon.com/L2W. License to Watch is a part of the Fandom Limb Podcast Network, so be sure to check out some of their other awesome shows and join us next time for Ridley Scott's Alien.